Yeah. So today, I have a guest that I have a enormous respect for. He is an actor. He is a host. He's a singer, rapper, a musician. Did I forget anything?
You got it, yeah. All around head ass.
All
yeah.
around, right? Triple threat.
Right.
And he also portrays Detective David Quinn on the hit TV show ATL Homicide. Let's hear it for Angelo Diaz.
Appreciate it.
My
I got
friend.
chill. I got chill. I got warrants and shit. You know what I'm saying? That's fine.
You ain't got to.
Not here. Ecuador.
Right?
Ecuador.
In Ecuador?
Nah.
Come on, man. Come on. We're coming for you.
What's up, man?
How you been?
I've been blessed, man. How you been, yo?
Yeah.
I'm proud of you.
I've been
This
good.
is lit. I appreciate what you're doing here, man. Real
Thank you,
talk.
Angelo.
This is dope.
I appreciate it. And you and I, I said this to you before. You and another famous actress were the first ones to comment on what I was doing, and that just, I was like, okay, I'm going in the right direction.
Yeah, it is.
And of course, I get my download from the
higher
the
power.
Most High.
Exactly.
You know how it goes.
Exactly.
And I knew that this was something that I was supposed to be doing. And it's been a journey for me because, I had to overcome a lot of camera shyness and stuff like that. So. But let's talk about you. Where you from?
Originally from Miami, Florida, and then Duval came into the mix in my high school years. So much love to Jacksonville, Florida. Really took me and my mom in, showed us much love, as well as my father figure, Bud, who to this day is like is dad to me.
Yes.
So yeah, Miami, Jacksonville, Florida boy forever. You hear me?
Look, I know it well. I know it well.
Is that right?
Opalaka,
Hey,
City, shout out. But yeah, those cities, those places down there can be, a hard place to live. It can be
100%.
hard to live in those places. How were you affected by your environment?
Well, my situation was one where we moved around a lot, me and my mom.
Yes.
This is who she was. She was a writer, an activist. As far as her purpose was always to be a vessel for activism. She was strong with a gift of writing, gift of connecting with people. And
What's your mom's name?
Inez Diaz Owen. Yeah, she upstairs smiling down on us right now. But
Okay.
but
See, I
yeah.
hear that, but I didn't know that.
Yeah, she's definitely up there holding it down,
proud of
smiling on
you.
everything. Yeah.
Yeah, she's proud of you. Look
I
at my
appreciate
baby.
that. Yeah, the grandkids and nieces, nephews. I know she's proud of the whole family. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's really beautiful when you
Okay.
get to see that generational trauma come like full circle and
Sure.
break cycles and stuff.
Yeah.
So
Definitely.
yeah, that's been beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you said your mom was an activist. How did that affect you? And, because I know you said you moved around a lot and, how did that affect you growing up?
Oh man, it was everything. It helped shape who I am. It helped shape what I value, what's important to me. It helped shape my purpose. I feel like filmmakers, like we talk in Filmmakers Lab, and as writers, as storytellers, we understand archetypes, we understand universal truths, stuff that people on the other side of the world can relate to, even though they may be dealing with a whole nother set of circumstances as you. But we all got universal truth we pull from. And we're all consisting of our origin trauma combined with our gifts / purpose.
Yeah.
And that's how we create like what we're here to do.
Yes.
You know what I mean? You combine your gifts with your trauma and that creates your purpose rather.
Definitely.
So that, just like everyone else, your origin trauma, it shapes you, it makes you who you are. It's not just extraordinary stuff that happens to our favorite superheroes or our favorite characters in books. All that stuff is based on real life, real archetypes. So, the alien loner that Superman is, or the geek loner that Peter Parker is, or the hurt little kid that Batman is, that adopted the dark. All these characters have origin trauma that they're pulling from that we can relate to. You know what I mean? So,
Definitely.
yeah, that shaped me,
And that shaped you greatly.
I appreciate it, man.
Oh man. And I'm sure that moving around and living in different places and having to adapt helps you hone your acting skills.
100%. I didn't know it at the time. Acting wasn't nowhere on my menu. No. Nah, just like this. This was a plot twist. You got a direct download.
You already know.
So,
I didn't dream this.
no.
No.
Yeah.
I never thought I was going to be in film. I was always good in English and writing and such, but I wanted to be a chemist. Go figure.
Okay.
So yeah.
That's interesting. That's interesting that brain that had an affinity for chemistry is what's led you to storytelling.
Yeah.
Or filmmaking, producing, which is all essentially storytelling.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. And it's so crazy. You think lab, chemistry.
I
But you know
see
what?
you,
No,
Playboy.
But you see me.
see
But that's
you.
not even something that I thought about.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Bet.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So yeah, that was just something that just came naturally.
That's just alignment. You know what I mean?
You know it.
That's lit.
You know it. You know
That's
it.
lit.
Yes. You're bilingual.
Yeah.
Do you think there's an advantage to that in film, being bilingual? Do you think that gives you an advantage? Does that give you an up? And would you do a film in Spanish?
100%. 100%. It would have to be something that I can be true to. Here's the thing with being bilingual. So my mom was from Cuba. She immigrated with her 2 brothers and her mom because my grandfather was recruited by the CIA to help overthrow Fidel Castro in a battle that's known as the Battle of the Bay of Pigs, and several efforts after that aren't as well known. But yeah, it's damn, that question is a whole can of worms. I'm trying to figure out where to start, man, because there's being Latino and then there's being Afro-Latino.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And Afro-Latino, just much like African Americans, are the backbone of Latino culture.
For sure.
But we're postured upon. We're treated a certain way in very sometimes microscopic ways and sometimes huge societal ways.
Yes.
And everywhere in between. So, like, even in this 2022, even in this current age of like illumination and information, people are appreciating the culture more, the hip hop culture, the black culture, from America to around the world. It's the #1 culture in the world.
Appropriation.
Exactly. So that's what's happening with the Afro-Latino narrative as we speak. And you're even seeing it in the craft. I'm seeing it I see you. Because it's like 5-10 years ago, these same actors that are popping as Afro-Latino now, it wasn't in their bio. It wasn't a big part of their identity. They weren't walking in the room moving like that and sounding like that, but now there's this big void of Afro-Latino narratives and a lot of people that are hungry to see themselves displayed. And every other week there's an uproar over this Latino film or that Latino show or this platform or that platform that didn't take advantage of the opportunity that people felt they had to big up Afro-Latino narratives, because y'all know we run the culture.
That's right.
So, yeah, it's just interesting to see. It's a lot of different dynamics to that. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
And there's a urgency to like create our own content, because just like with our culture, with the like, if we don't do it ourselves, they're gonna take it and milk it and pimp it, and they may not do justice by it. They may not even have any Afro-Latino people in the room. But I never forget. I tell the story all the time, man. I tell the story all the time, bro. And I'm gonna flip it, man, because I don't even feel like all that. But so I was working at the Optimist. Shout out to the Optimist. I was working at the Optimist, I don't know, a little bit less than a year. It's a fire-ass seafood restaurant.
Oh, okay.
And they're owned by a chain that's like well known for their restaurants. They dope. They craftsmanship, execution. They really pride themselves on that. I was working there, and I was missing too many shifts for auditions and going out of town for Pretty Fly Society business. It just wasn't working. It was love, though. I still love them to this day. When they let me go, they were smiling at me. And they said, "You want to go for a drink after?" I was like, "No, you just fired me, bro. I don't want to." I got let go when I had to go book Zola. I had to do a callback to
Oh, wow.
Daytona to book Zola, and I missed like 2 shifts. One of them I had picked up.
Oh, my
you know what I
God.
mean? So that was the last straw.
Right.
But it's in West Midtown, and it's like the type of restaurant that's always in like Condé Nast's top 10 restaurants for Atlanta to visit, or this magazine's list, or this website's list, stuff like that. So we would get the Marvel actors and crew and producers when they're in town. Different shows would meet there.
Yeah.
It was dope. Even it being in West Midtown over there by Georgia Tech and a lot of those engineering firms, architectural firms, design firms, that was cool because they would come meet too. I'm a geek for that. I love that kind of stuff too. But it was a show that has black in the title. And they had a writer's room meeting, and it was it was like 2 8-tops we put together, but they didn't fill it all. So it was like maybe 12 people. They had scripts out, they were chopping it. It wasn't even my table, somebody gave it to me because they know I'm an actor, so they're like, oh, you should go, that'd be cool.
Okay.
So I mean, it was like service assistant, so I'm like picking up stuff, dropping off bread, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you know, guess how many black people was at that table for the writer's room of this show that has black in the title? It's about superhero
One?
shit. A little bit less than one.
No. Shut up. That's so typical.
Scripts out, computers
That's
out,
ugly,
making
but
notes,
it's
yeah.
So typical.
And it's a show I rock with. Before I saw that, I was like, yo, this is a well-done show. It's true to the culture. It makes real earnest attempts to... Now, I know writer's room, some faces change and things move around, but
yeah.
I'm telling you, that day, I got receipts. That day, there was... So I bring that up because it's something trippy. It's like a real example that I was confronted with in the sense of that representation. And we know it, but when you confront it with it in real time, you're like, whoa.
How do you do it?
That urgency.
Yeah.
Just puts more pep in your step. It's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
screw it, man. Create, don't wait. We got to make it happen. And it's
Create the way.
you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Following in the mode of sisters, like always, like Issa Rae and Ava DuVernay,
Yeah.
who took what they had and made it happen. They wasn't
Yes.
waiting on nobody.
No.
You know what I mean? So
YouTube. Issa Rae started on YouTube.
you heard?
What? She's
You
a
know?
bomb. I love her. And she has put her foot on the gas and has not stopped.
Because what they gonna do? Of
They
course,
can't do nothing.
they're gonna give her the keys to the building because she's connected to the culture, the stuff she's delivering, his home, her
And
beyond her whole everything that's
and those
behind her and rocking with her.
that they said nobody watches. She's blowing the numbers out the. And Issa Rae is the type of person to say, so who ain't watching?
Exactly. Exactly.
We got the numbers, so guess what? You want the next show? Because I got the next show. She already got another show coming out. I can't think of the name of it. Lord have mercy.
Was it rap shit?
Yes.
Yes, he's a part of it. Produced it or something to that nature. Yeah, man.
Come
Yeah.
on. And you know
Yeah.
she got a whole arsenal of stuff.
Come
You know
on,
what I'm
man.
saying?
And that's
So,
beautiful to see. You know what I mean? It's motivational. It's inspirational.
Really.
Shows you what's available. You know.
Definitely. And there's some of us coming up behind her.
Hey,
You know,
that's what it's
I
about.
love the fact that she makes no bones about I'm opening the doors for black people, straight up.
Oh, she's blatant about it, which
Oh,
is dope.
straight up.
Hella dope.
They asked her at one of the award ceremonies,
Come on.
who do you want to see win? And she goes, anybody black.
You heard?
I'm like, I ain't even mad at that.
No.
Oh
for
my
real.
God. So I'm gonna switch gears real quick, because I want to get your whole story. So, you were in the military.
Correct.
I was in the Army. It shaped me. It shaped who I am today. The discipline aspect of it, the organization aspect of it. It shaped me. What branch were you in?
I was in the Navy, but the part of the Navy I was in service mainly for the Marines and Navy SEALs, Navy Seabees, which are like these badass gangster combat engineers, the ones that's laying down the infrastructure in like high danger combat zones. So yes, I was a medic, but I was specifically trained for combat situations or the field or the Marine life or the Navy SEAL life.
Got you.
All of those are different brackets that you get deeper into the game for, but they really, you consider like the Marines look at you as one of their own and they call you Doc and you're like right here with them, you know what I mean? And
doubt.
beyond physical is stuff they going through back home. You just become a source of like a safe haven for them, you know what I mean? So and you carrying the load that they're carrying and then some. Sometimes literally. You know what I mean? Because you got your medical supply, and that's an extra 30 to 40 pounds on top of the rucksack that you're carrying. So those times shape me, man. And that discipline you're talking about.
Yeah, for sure. Do you consider yourself a disruptor?
100%.
What does that word mean to you?
From the day I was born, just shifting the status quo and understanding that your purpose is to change the game, disrupt things, and not just in a sense of recklessness or danger, but with a purpose. And my purpose is, diversity, inclusion, equity, for all kinds of people, all kind of walk of life, for whoever can see themselves in my narrative, 100%.
Right.
And we're the two-part to help spark the mind that will go and change the world. You know what I mean? So that's what I value as disruption, because you're a catalyst for how people's mindset could change, or if you're listening to Tupac while you're doing homework or preparing for the LSAT, or you're fucking in the locker room getting ready to take the field, all those are catalysts, and he's helping you disrupt. You know what I mean? So it goes far beyond maybe what I can even accomplish on my 2 feet on this earth. It's about the impact that can be left.
Definitely.
So yeah.
I forget where I saw that word, but I was like, okay, disrupt. It was something that, I don't know if it was on your IG or whatever, but I saw that and I was like, I think I'm that too.
That's what I was saying.
I think I'm a disruptor as well.
For sure.
Changing the game and just doing it your way, rocking to your own beat.
100%.
And that's me all day.
And shout out to Georgia Hollywood Review. That's family. They featured us on the cover, and we talked about disruption.
Yeah.
Me and my god brother Frank
That's
Mill.
probably where I saw it.
Facts. Yeah.
Go
Yeah. We just talked about Pretty Fly Society, and at the time we were gearing up for volume 2 of a traveling fashion show that we do called Swim, and we're bringing our Fashion Week back to Atlanta. Just talking about everything that we're doing in the game.
You're fresh off the Fashion Week too, right?
Fresh off, yeah. We just left the final model call and designer call.
All right, we're gonna talk about it.
All right, bet.
We're gonna talk about it. We're gonna go
Word. Dolly.
You started in 2016. At least that's what you say. I think it was probably before that.
Yeah, it was 2016. Yeah, as far as acting as a professional, yeah. That's when, like you say, I got the direct download. It's like you got,
I mean, you got the direct download, but was you a kid dreaming? Like, did you walk around with a camera? Were you a movie fanatic? Like, were you any of those things? Like, did you dream about being on ATL Homicide?
Nah, this is a plot twist I never would have saw coming. Even as early as 10 years ago, or 5 years before I started acting, 3 years before I started acting, I would have said, "Get out of here."
I believe you.
No, I mean, I was a writer, so storytelling is in my blood from my mom.
You right.
Yeah, definitely right. That's my first love. Writing and boxing. I can't really tell you which one came first, but those, as long as I can remember, those have been my loves. Yeah, 100%.
Well, writing was your mom.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
So
definitely. Booking room. You started with the booking room.
Yeah. I started acting. I started training there because I knew that. The feedback I was getting was like, man, you're fired, you got this raw talent, but I didn't want that to be like my stigma or my narrative. I'm an academic person, or if I'm in love with something, I'm gonna dive in, book-wise or whatever resources are available, or gym-wise, sparring-wise.
Got you.
So the booking room, shout out to the booking room, ATL, man. That's fam, that's squad. If I could recommend that to any new actor in the Atlanta area, and as they expand to LA and other markets, I definitely recommend the Booking Room ATL, because it's for actors by actors. So it's working actors that put together this class and can tell you how to get to where they're going and what could work for you and what. And it becomes like, I tell people all the time, class is like the golf course for actors. So it ain't just about working your craft. It's like y'all are sharing resources. Hopefully, if it's a healthy environment and y'all squad and y'all, it just takes the chemistry and the vibrations, but you get to learn like who got a camera.
Pedal means butt.
Yeah, no, you good. For real, man.
No, it's cool. So what I'm trying to pull from you right now is how you got started in the industry. Because for me, it was like you said, people said you have this talent, you have this, you have that. And I actually stepped out on faith. I moved from New York. I, I mean, I had a couple of $100 in my pocket. I had some support, but at the same time, I was scared to death. I didn't know what to expect. You know what I'm saying? Like you hear it and you say, okay, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. And it was something that I enjoyed, got on set, was on set for for the first time. I was the first one there and the last one to leave. I felt like I'm home. You know what I mean?
Facts.
I'm like, I'm home. This is so dope. I mean, what was it about film that got you?
The storytelling aspect,
Okay.
and then just catching up, because I wasn't a kid that was in the movies. I was a pretty intellectual kid. I was pretty like weird, but I don't mean to say that in a. I use weird as a compliment. You know what I mean? But I was definitely. Because the stuff my mom had me writing about, and it was kind of just an Afro-Cuban woman, and identification, but not necessarily appearance. So she's preparing her black child with this Ethiopian brother to grow up in a country that's essentially at war with him. She's an activist, so she knows a very extreme side of the game, and she knows if she's always went for the type of stories that would she was part of the journalistic community that would pride themselves on death threats, and they would get together and exchange war stories and criticize whether these stories were hard-hitting enough and anti the yellow journalism and stuff like that. So she was all about uncovering truth about this country and cities and regions. So the type of stuff she had me writing about to prepare for that had me zoned out. And not to, she was doing what, and it all led to where we're supposed to be at. Everything happens for a reason. But at the time, it was just a lot to cope with. So I was like, it wasn't no sitting me in front of a TV and watching movies. I was like, that's programming, man. You got you know what I'm saying? I'm like, I'm outside. You don't need to, you know what I mean?
Well, it is.
But you get older and you start to learn art
Yeah.
and the power of it. And one of my favorite quotes is, artists are the gatekeepers of truth.
Yeah.
I've heard Harry Belafonte say that a lot. So yeah, man, so there's an honorable and like a nobility to it. And also there's a hunger, is like a dark shit that you're signing up for. And it feels Marine-esque in nature, Navy SEAL-esque, where you're doing it for country, you're doing it for family, you're doing it for people you never even met, but y'all know y'all signing up for this shit. And it bleeds into the humor and how you approach everything, the camaraderie, the familyness, because you know that y'all are some of the only people in the world that can relate to that experience, you know what I mean? Or understand what people joke about, like digging a hole to poop in and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The way we could joke about sleeping in our cars or sacrificing everything for this stuff. The common, experience with actors or directors or musicians or painters or any kind of creative, any artist that's a gatekeeper of truth. So I like that. Like, it just reminds me of football, sports, and it's like you signing up for this grueling thing, but you know you're doing it for a higher calling. The great architect has called you to do this, and who are you to question it?
Sure.
For sure.
Definitely. What's some good advice that you've gotten from someone about being an actor? Have you gotten any advice? What advice, better yet, what advice would you give someone that's pursuing acting?
Man, it's just wrapping your mind around the fact that it is not something you like kind of dabble into. And it sucks because there's so many examples of like the opposite of that, where, once you get to a point as an artist or even an entrepreneur or a celebrity, which means a wide range of things these days, but
Yeah, well.
yeah, for sure.
You won.
For sure. Well, facts, but well, I mean, not like that, but whatever you want. But in the sense of people can go famous from social media and all kind of different things that might not necessarily have nothing to do with art, but you could segue that into acting. Because now you have a following, you have a name, you have a face people recognize that distributors and platforms and studios can hire, and they know that face and that name will bring butts in the theater, butts in the seats, or eyes on the mobile devices. But if you're not that, if that's not where you're at in your journey, you kind of want to ask yourself, like, why are you doing this? Because it's definitely a lifestyle. It's not.
Yes, sir.
It's something I would equate to boxing. You don't just box. You know, just wake up one day, I'm gonna go just spar. You know what I mean? Unless you're doing it for health or recreation, or because you think it gets you going, it scratches the itch for you. But as far as you don't swerve into the lane of boxing, traditionally speaking. Like we're seeing these YouTubers doing it,
right?
But the most successful of those YouTubers are taking it serious from accounts that I've seen or interviews and stuff like that. Jake Paul is approaching this as a lifestyle. He's not just dabbling in it. You know what I mean? Definitely. And that's how acting is, bro. That's how acting is. You're not finna like just swerve into the lane of acting. It's a whole lifestyle. It's a gym. It's a diet. It's a regimen. Like metaphorically speaking, you know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
So if you get into acting with the sole intent of being famous, you may want to like consider something else.
No doubt,
for sure.
No doubt. I've heard other people say that, and I agree totally, 100%. And that brings me to my next question. You studied with Vince Pisani, Susan Batson, from LA to New York.
Hey man, you be knowing stuff. What you got going on over here, man? You acting like the feds and shit over here. Hey, you the homicide detective.
It's my job.
You know? For real. Nah, you doing the damn thing. You over here getting your what's the name?
What?
Nodwar?
Nodwar?
Yeah. You seen him before?
No.
Oh yeah, you should check him out. He's hilarious, bro. He be coming up with questions that people just be like, yo, where did you find that?
Listen.
And then the reactions just be priceless.
Listen, let me tell you, if your sister's IG wasn't private, I'd have been like, so I'm getting ready
Tell me about Dre.
Right. I'm getting ready
That's
to
my
interview your brother.
That's my people,
and
man.
I need to know some stuff so I can get him stumped.
Oh shit, she would have told you about the warrants in Ecuador. That's what I'm saying. I'm glad you ain't retired.
That's funny. That is hilarious. So yeah, I mean, like for real, people don't understand. Actors, actresses out here don't understand how important it is to study. Can you please tell them how important it is?
Man.
And that it's something that it shouldn't be just a one-off. Oh yeah, I went to study with so and so, and that's it. No.
Nah.
Right?
It shouldn't. Yeah, no. It should be.
I'm not an actress. I'm a writer. But even I know how important it is. You know what I'm saying?
To study, to perfect your craft, to always be honing your skills, your arsenal, your weaponry, always. Like, you look at anybody you may be inspired by or you want to emulate or surpass, you know what I mean, let alone emulate. Man, even if they're not actors, like whatever field they're in, bro, they go hard. They a dog. They're a fool for this.
That's right.
And even somebody like it's easy examples like a Michael Jordan, a Kobe Bryant, a Tom Brady, people that have achieved this mass level of success, and athletics is so easy to pull from as far as examples. Man, they was in that gym till the day they died, until the day they retired. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
So you got to have that same kind of, but it will come natural if you're living in your purpose, your alignment. You're gonna have to work for it, but that fire in you,
it'll be there.
Will come. So class is everything, yo. It 100% is. And you want to find someone, a class.
I was going to say, is it important where you study?
100%.
Okay.
100%. And shop around. Like a lot of my friends, my colleagues, my peers, we find classes until we find the one for us. Like most classes are going to allow you to audit, which means to go in and try a class for free one time to see if it's for you. To see what the vibe is like, the people, the instructors, the atmosphere. At the end of the day, man, it's such a huge part of the journey. And you want to feel challenged, you want to feel uncomfortable, because that's where the growth lies. Like, you doing this, the public speaking, that aspect of it, you were saying when we started that, it's uncomfortable, and that's where the growth happens. And that's where you were called to, because that's where the growth happens.
Listen, I could tell you some stories, and you'll be like, what? How did you get here?
Facts.
But, I feel like, that determination and that motivation is just, like you said, it comes from within, and I have that, and I'm not one to quit. I'm not one to be defeated. I'm gonna keep doing it until I get it right.
That's what I'm saying.
You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying.
So, and here we are.
That's how we doing it. That's the Filmmakers Lab style. You know what I mean?
You know, oh my goodness. It's funny because Filmmakers Lab came about from a cousin of mine that kept saying it wrong. It was filmmaker Lena B, right? Lena Brown. And he kept saying, hey, oh, what's up with Filmmakers Lab? What's up with Filmmakers Lab? And I was like, that's not what it is. And he's like, but that's what it should be. And it clicked. I was like, oh, Filmmakers Lab. And nobody had that name. I said, oh, this is what it's supposed to be.
That's dope. That's dope. That's going to catch on. That's going to be a whole vibe.
Oh, man, it's getting
I can see
there.
the merch. I can see the website. I can see everything.
See?
You know what I mean?
So can I.
For sure, yeah.
Now I can.
Hey, that's what I'm saying.
What would you tell your 12-year-old self about everything that's going on right now?
I don't even know what I would tell him because some of those bumps and curves and dips in the road need to happen. So you get to messing with the time, space, quantum leap. You know what I mean? That's when you end up with a Marvel movie. And
I didn't expect you to say that, but I get it.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I get it.
Nah, probably things that I was already hearing at 12 years old, but you need to hear them from a coach and then a brother and then another family member and then a peer, and then it all starts to make sense. You know what I mean?
For sure.
And then everybody else be like, "That's what I've been telling you." It was like, "Yeah, but it resonated." You know what I mean?
I mean, it's gotta sink in.
Facts.
You know.
Facts.
I want to talk about ATL Homicide.
Hey.
You want to play that clip or no? Okay.
The victim was found right here. The name is Jose Greer.
He explains to us that the night before, 51-year-old Jose Greer was found in the parking lot of his building, and his body was mangled.
Mr. Greer was transported to Grady and died a couple of hours later. The ME is ruled it a homicide.
We're wondering what would have caused this brother to receive this much trauma. They said his body was mangled. I'm thinking, did he actually get hit by something like a truck?
All right, what was the nature of his injuries? Vehicular homicide?
Doesn't look that way. We know Mr. Greer called police last night about 7:30. Here, give this a listen.
What we hear is completely shocking.
Atlanta 911.
Someone's trying to get into my place. I'm on the 3rd floor. I might jump off the balcony. Please send someone. They kicking the door in, ma'am. They just kicking it in.
So he jumped?
Looks that way.
What were his injuries?
Massive blunt force trauma over the whole body.
This poor man had 2 broken arms, a broken hip, internal injuries, abrasions, lacerations. Almost every bone in his body was affected.
Damn. I mean, that is a long drop.
This brother had an awful way to lose his life. I can only imagine the horror as he was, falling down. It looks like probably 40-some feet.
The working theory is a burglary that went wrong.
So maybe he hears the robbers coming through the door. He's getting scared for his life. He takes a chance, jumps, and did this to himself?
Maybe. Or maybe the people that came in did this to him.
We don't know that the bad guys got in and then threw him off the balcony.
All right, so was this brother thrown or did he jump?
How'd you get that role?
Well, it all started in Cuba, 1954.
You old. You are old.
I actually got that from, what was that, Revamp of Que Pasa, I think. So I don't want to say act like I made that. It was a nationwide casting call. Self-tape auditions, like so many auditions are these days. Most of them, it feels like.
You didn't put that on your IG, did you?
What?
Your self-tape.
Nah.
But sometimes you
I
do.
haven't. Yeah, sometimes.
Okay.
Sometimes, yeah.
I didn't see that one. Look, I was looking.
Bill Nye the Science Guy was like, I've noticed that you are. Nah, man, I rock with it.
That's
I rock
funny.
with it. It was nationwide casting call. Crazy.
Okay. How do you prepare for a role that doesn't necessarily have a script? Because is there a script?
Yeah, there's a script.
There is a
There's
script.
a script.
Okay.
So there's a script for the recreate. So the TV show is documentary.
Yep.
It features the original detectives talking
Right.
about the case.
Right.
Sometimes
Right.
the victim's family, other key witnesses. prosecutors, even journalists who might have been covering the case during that time period, forensics experts, stuff like that. All kind of people get interviewed for the show involving a case. Every episode is a different case. But we act it out. So every episode, it's me, my co-star Chris Diaz, my brother from another mother, other detectives, and a whole fresh set of cast. And it's extra dope because we get to see a lot of actors come from the Atlanta market, from all over the Southeast market. So every now and then they're coming in from all over the U.S. as well. But that's been something very special about it. And like you were saying earlier, just being able to portray brothers on the other side of the badge, a Puerto Rican brother and a black brother on the other side of the badge. Because we don't see strong examples of that, you know what I mean? Especially in nonfiction, two guys that really exist. And Quinn and Vinny they're a huge part of the appeal of the show, the beauty of the show as well, because their personalities are so strong, you know what I mean? But the fact that they are who they are and the ethnicities that they are is such a strong, like, powerful statement, you know?
I'm glad that they included them as far as, you know, narration and putting it together. That's dope.
Yeah, they add a lot to the show. Like, Quinn's vernacular is the way he describes things and speaks on things. It's just crazy. It's dope.
He's over the top. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, bro.
I really would love to have them on the show and talk to them and pick their brains
Yeah,
about
it is. Quinn,
that
Vinny,
part
tap
of
in for the squad, man. Need that favor, man. Now they
I'm
stand up
definitely
guys.
gonna get Chris on here though.
100%. Yeah. We just gotta
has
catch
to
him in
come.
Atlanta, man.
Yes.
That's all.
Oh, I will.
Word.
No worries. I met him before though. I don't think he remembers me, but I met him before.
Who's that Bronzelands?
No. I met him at screening room.
Oh, he did come. Yeah. That's a fact. That's dope.
Yes, I met him at the screening room. And I want to say he was screening the film. I'm not sure.
I don't think Chris was, but you probably met him
maybe
there.
Maybe not. Yeah, but I did meet him.
That's dope.
Yeah, I would love to get them on the show. Do you guys ad-lib at all? So, do you actually look at the files?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
So
how do you prepare?
man, we started asking for the files like after the first day of filming. Like it all happened very suddenly. So
That wasn't part of they didn't have it set up that way. You guys had to ask for it.
100%. Yeah,
Okay.
I mean this. Yeah. The production company Jupiter Entertainment specializes in true crime. This would be their third show that was based on a consistent detective, and had actors portraying that detective, let alone two actors. So with that being said, it was new territory for all of us, you know what I mean? So we quickly were like, and Chris Diaz was similar in the sense of work ethic, passion, tenacity, you know what I mean? He's been acting for some time. As a kid growing up, he went to conservatory for college, all of that, you know, and then us linking up and same last name, both Guanos, both from Miami, you know what I mean? Same age. It was just crazy. So instantly we were like, yo, we're in this thing together and we're trusting God and let's get after it. So we're asking for the pictures from the crime scene, the files, videos if a case involves surveillance footage or interrogation footage or interrogation audios or recorded phone calls, recorded 911 phone calls, all of that. Not only that, but we would ask for the interview portions that y'all see, the full rough cut of it. So these sessions sometimes are 4 or 5 hour sessions, and we watch every episode of it for the last however many episodes. And we've learned so much about not just detectives, let alone homicide detectives, but the police force, how police forces, and how they differ from county to county, state to state. You could be in Baltimore, Maryland, and talking to somebody in Oakland, and y'all talking about y'all talking about apples and oranges. Because the county that runs the Oakland Sheriff's Office versus the county that runs the Baltimore, or however the jurisdictions are divvied up, they're gonna have totally different policies. And we would just find out things, even from their perspective, where they're like, oh yeah, it used to be like this and now it's not anymore. Or back in the day, this was a thing and then you understand the trickle-down effect of some of these massive decisions that get made when they say, defund the police or budget cuts or tax cuts and how that affects everything. One thing I pulled from these last 2 episodes that we shot, I don't want to get too much away. It's part of the season finale. It's like a whole...
don't say anything.
No, I ain't gonna get too much away. It's like a multiple episode story arc. So in that, there's a lot going on But in that interview footage, we got to see Quinn talk about, because Quinn and Vinny started a cold case and complex case unit.
Oh.
So them
On their
and
own?
a handful of detectives,
Oh, wow.
including David Quinn and Vinny Velasquez,
Okay.
started that unit.
Yeah.
To work through the years of backlogs of different crimes.
Wow.
And in that, you know, you're dealing with a lot of different detectives and how they approach their craft and the notes that they make. I heard David Quinn say in one interview, and it ended up making it into the rough cut of the episode from what I've seen, but there used to be somebody who would dictate detectives' notes for the day. So there were several positions at one time. And they would be in there, their one job was to dictate. Detectives had to bring their notes into them, and that person had to dictate what they had done for the day, log it, or give it back to them. Or, I don't want to misquote David, but it could have been a combination of the two. But that level of accountability is different from when, you know what I'm saying? All right,
Give me
bet.
5 minutes.
Bet. Hey, we covering ground, though. We kicking ass. Yeah. Yeah, I fuck with it.
I actually am a transcriber, so I know exactly what you're talking about.
And that's no longer a thing. That level, that one position, or however many people were hired, or that pool of resources or money or taxes that were used to hire those positions, whatever happened, and that's no longer a thing. So that change, that one small change changes a whole dynamic, because that's the quality control you had for detectives who all had different brains and moved different ways. But at the end of the day, you had this one checkpoint where people had to come through. And you don't realize how many changes like that occur, or as we're trying to increase the quality of the law enforcement system for everybody, that involves a lot of changes, and those changes have ripple effects. So we run around and say things like defund the police. I feel where we're coming from in the sense of how the unlimited control it feels like they have over life and death in our communities.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of intricacies that go into that shit, yo.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, but when you don't know, you don't know.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying?
But with shows like this, there's more knowledge going out. And
Definitely.
with people like David Quinn and Vince Velasquez, who are who they are beyond the show.
Yes.
You can catch them outside, public speaking, running private security companies, mentoring other people, writing books.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? David Quinn working on a book right now as we speak, almost finishing. You know what I mean?
That's what's up.
So it's crazy to be a part of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It really is. Because I'm from Florida, I'm from the crib, I'm from Duval, I'm from Miami. And my experiences is skewed, and I understand that. But coming from the bottom, we all come from the bottom, but coming from my version of the bottom, I ain't never met no David Quinn or Vince Velasquez. In patrol uniform, in security, and any of that. Quite the opposite. I got my ass beat by police. I done seen police beat ass. I done tried to start. I done been through it all. You know what I mean? As far as my experience.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
to be able to be a part of something like that, man, I can't even scratch how monumental that is.
I hear you. How do you David Quinn's personality is like over the top.
Yeah.
How do you debrief? How do you come down from that?
Man, it's actually dope. It's dope to step into it. It's dope to take on his mannerisms. And even though like we're pretty close in the sense of how we talk with our hands, I would tell him he's Cuban. We used to joke about that all the time. Even the smirk with like the half
Yeah.
it's just a lot. It was just God. When it's above your pay grade, you just submit to your orders, your directions, and you roll with it. But in the sense of coming down, man, funny, me and Chris Diaz joke about it often, but he's more like David Quinn, and I'm more like Vince Velasquez in the sense of demeanor and like relationship persona and archetype and stuff like that.
Yeah.
David
I can
Quinn
see that.
is self-professed crunk. Like that's how he would describe
No
himself.
doubt.
'Cause, and Chris Diaz is crunk as a motherfucker too, man. So I'm like, yeah, that's we joke about that on set all the time. dog.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
man.
Do you love the victims like David Quinn?
Yeah, we definitely tap into that, man. And it's astounding because each victim has a different relationship with the detectives, or vice versa. David Quinn has tattoos from several cases.
Does
Yeah, I mean, it's not unheard of to have detectives adopting children that were orphaned from homicides. It's not uncommon to have that level of passion. You don't. You don't, man. You don't.
Man.
And even some of the children, one officer in particular that was from a homicide, when it became a police officer, and they were part of that process.
Yeah.
And even them solving his family's homicide, the demeanor and the poise, the way David Quinn and Vince Velasquez carried themselves, their passion, their tenacity about it, is what inspired him to do that
That's why they
in
were
real time.
so successful, though.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, man. That is it right there.
For real. Facts.
How does your family feel about all of your success?
Oh man, they're loving it, man. You know, our every family has trauma, every family has things we're going through. So to see that come full circle, we're talking about 3 generations ago. On my mom's side, my grandparents had to make a choice that shifted the whole narrative, the whole course.
No doubt.
And that trickles down. Those choices trickle down. Even though they're trying to do what's right for them in that moment, there's consequences to all those choices. You're uprooting people. You're putting people in environments they're not used to, so forth and so on. So my generation, my sisters and cousins, we're just extra proud of the next generation, man. We got cousins playing in the NBA, a G League. Shout out to my cousin Lean Ford.
Shout out.
Man,
That's
shout out
what's
to
up.
Lean Ford.
Okay.
Playing with the Lakeland Magic, soon on his way to Orlando Magic.
Yes.
Shout out to my niece Risa Ophelia, dancing. Go to Cal Arts on a dance scholarship.
What's up?
Be dancing in Mexico and Berlin and Wisconsin. A member of a dance company teaching
That's
dance.
what's up.
She just finished working at a surf camp called Brown Girls Surf out there in Oakland. That's a big part of the Brown Girls surfing movement.
Yes.
She went to that camp and now she's helping teach it. My nephew Dion was taking up photography. My nephew Davis, who's a baby genius. It's just awesome, man.
Yeah.
It's just dope, yeah.
That's what's up.
It is, yo.
That's what's up. Pretty Fly Society.
You heard?
Let's talk about that.
You know?
Like I said, you should be giving a master class on hosting and emceeing. Because I'm saying to myself, is he reading something? Does he have a teleprompter? Like, how is it flow? If you flow so good. You do. You really do, Angelo. I mean, you're talking about someone who, sometimes I cannot find the words. And it's just practice. I realize that. But you're just natural. It's just natural for you. It is. I watched you.
Appreciate it.
You need to be giving classes, for real. But tell me about Pretty Fly Society real quick.
Oh man, Pretty Fly Society is a branding and marketing agency. It's a creative agency, but it kind of blends the lines between that and also like a lifestyle company. It's something that you want to be a part of. Like when you're wearing Jordan, you want to be a part of Team Jordan. When you listen to OVO, you like damn near subscribing to a lifestyle, or you rock it with it because you understand that lifestyle, what's happening there, that vibration. And same with Rockefeller or some of the movements that have helped shift the culture in that way. And that's what people feel from Pretty Fly Society. So it goes far beyond myself and Frank Mill, my god brother, Shakir, Audrey, the family and friends that support us, Trap Chris, Lou, AKA One Glance, ATL. I mean, everybody that's been a part of this movement from day one. I mean, we started back in 2012 in college, to be honest, in Charleston, South Carolina, which is not a huge media market, but we were making an impact quickly. And just trying to figure out how to segue, which is, if you listen to this and you're in that pocket, the sky is the limit for you right now. But this was an era like before the term influencer was a thing, before pop-up was a thing. That's what we saw happen. That's what we're making happen. We were doing pop-ups before it was a full term. We saw the space for influencers to shift the game, where companies like AT&T and Coca-Cola would be spending the amount that they're spending now with companies that go and find them influencers. We saw kind of all this happening, the power of Instagram growing exponentially, it felt like, day by day. And we were just dudes who were them dudes on the campus that wasn't big.
Just jumped on it.
Yeah. Charleston Southern, some of us were football players, some of us were basketball players, some of us were fraternity men, noops, things of that nature. And we squatted up. We were each different groups of them guys on campus, but the campus wasn't big enough for like 4 different groups of them guys. So we got smart and got out our own way and let the testosterone and anger get out of the way and just saw each other across the aisle and was like, damn, we could do some amazing things.
That's what's up.
And through all that, me and Frank were running it to where it's at now. From when we were closer to college age, we were spreading around different campuses as an accredited organization, going through all the hoops for the paperwork that it takes to do that. At HBCUs like Savannah State, Valdosta State. Our first fashion show that bro did under the umbrella of Pretty Fly Society, 5 people showed up. Not including the people who helped. 5 people showed up. And now we're doing it with some established name brands.
Thousands.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And moving thousands for people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And bringing that back to the grassroots, to the creatives who are going to go and change the game. You know what I mean? And inspire other people to change the world. So when we talk about disruption, that's, you know what I mean?
All day.
So I really get excited. I love being able to. Storytelling is my gift, so it aligns with my purpose. But my main purpose is being a vessel for this kind of activity, this Robin Hood level of disruption, where it's everybody's signing up for it and they loving it. The companies we work with, the Paul Mitchell schools, the Marriott's, the liquor companies, the companies we can't even name now because we got deals on the table with them. You know what I mean? There's established companies. Gorham Brothers, #1 hat maker in the U.S., if not the world. Craig, the world. You know what I mean? And they love what we represent. And they don't got a problem with what we're doing. And I come from a long line of that. You know what I'm saying? So it's beautiful to see all that generational work trickle down and us be in a position to take advantage of it and have the discipline and work ethic to do it. Yeah. Because I know my grandfather would be very proud of what's happening now as well. For sure.
And your mom.
Hey.
I know we had 5 minutes, like 10 minutes ago, but I still want to talk about
rolling.
real quick. Boutique Fashion Week. You just came off of that. You're a pretty. You might be a brainiac nerd or whatever what you want to call it, but you're a fashionista. Like for real.
Yeah, that's funny. A fashionista.
You are. You really are.
You can't call
got
a
the
young,
style.
chill Florida boy a fashionista.
Hey, I'm saying it.
That's like
I'm saying it. You might not accept it, but I'm saying it. Okay. Tell us about Boutique Fashion Week and why it's spelled with a V.
That's just branding. That's branding that you'll see come more full circle as it's happening. We have the V Studios that we just opened in Atlanta, coming soon to Houston, LA, other markets. And other platforms. You'll see a network, a YouTube channel, magazine. Okay. So that V will be a staple of ours where a lot of things will live under that umbrella.
Nice. But you don't
Or
tell me what
is.
it means, though.
Huh?
You don't want to tell me what it means.
It means a couple of different things. V is Roman numeral for 5, so it represents the 5 pillars of success.
Nice.
It also stands for vibrations.
Okay.
And it's also just a quick flip where people can recognize it and see, oh, that's unique.
It's
That's that brand.
boutique.
Boutique. Yeah, you ain't got to say boutique fashion. I know it's spelled crazy, but just vibe with it. You're going to see it. You're seeing it come full circle as we speak if you take the energy and the time to tune into it.
That's dope.
Appreciate it,
I
man.
mean, I thought it was.
And we really love that, man. That's a huge gift for my god brother Frank, and something that we both revel in and we both enjoy. But he has a lot of genius in that branding and marketing and aesthetic and what pulls at people and what kind of aesthetic matches what kind of company. When we sit down with companies and when we consult with them and they want to know how we can help them and add to their branding and marketing, they want some of what we do, we listen.
It's the psychology
We listen.
of it.
Man, you feel me?
Yes,
it's the
sir.
sociology, and we just sit there
Yes.
and we listen to the story and who they are and who they're trying to reach, and then we create packages for them and aesthetic and design language and all that good stuff. Yeah, man, it's fun. It's its own creative.
No doubt.
And I'm excited that like people who are experts in marketing and branding or work in that field is being understood that it's more of a creative venture. It really
For
is.
sure.
Yeah, there's art to it, 100%.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Love it, love it. What you got going on? What can you talk about anything?
Yeah, man.
Season 4 ATL Homicide?
Yeah, season 4 ATL Homicide. We premiering August 22nd
Tell it.
on TV One. 20 episodes for y'all, man. The biggest season of 20. Wow. 20 of them things. God is good.
How long did it take to film 20?
Man, we just wrapped a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
And so we were doing since January, every other week since January. We had some things pop off.
That's a lot.
Production is Murphy's Law, so some things delayed us, but we rolled with the punches all the way through.
You took the time to come see me.
Come on, man. You know what I'm saying?
know I
I
love
just touched down 6
I love
a.m. Come on, I got you. I got you. You hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, man. Boutique Fashion Week Volume 5 returning to Atlanta. That's what we just had the model call today. The designer call and model call. 100-something people came out and showed out. 100-something models alone.
Nice.
Plus designers, plus some of our corporate partners like Pink Zebra Boutique down in Lil 5. #1 boutique in Atlanta.
Nice. That's what's up.
Several designers came out, showed out, photographers, videographers, influencers, and everybody's feeling that excitement for Volume 5.
Yeah.
And then announcing next year's cities, Volume 6 and Volume 7. We're going to announce it on the last event of Volume 5 here. We do like a big brunch to just celebrate what we just went through for the week. It's Wednesday through Sunday, nonstop events this Fashion Week.
Nice.
Nonstop
I
events.
want to come.
Come on.
I want to be there.
Come on,
I wanna
man.
be
Don't, you're not even finna do that on camera. So what are we doing? She acting like she ain't finna be there. What's going on? Are we okay? What's happening?
You be outside. You be outside.
It look like it, don't it? It do look like it,
Ah,
don't it?
you do. For real. For real. Tell everybody where they can find you on social media.
Nah, you straight. Remember Ecuador, so we don't even want to.
He's silly.
You find me when you find me. You know what I mean? Something I find
Cuba,
you.
the God.
Yeah, for sure. Angelo Diaz. Oh, Cuba the God. GAWD. No disrespect to the original God, the original great architect. Yeah, Cuba the God on the things, on the social medias and stuff. Hit me up, man.
Okay.
Let's work. Let's collaborate.
No doubt.
Let's disrupt.
Man, thank you, Angelo.
Come on, man. I appreciate you.
I appreciate you, man. Oh my God. Thank you so much. So that is a wrap on Filmmakers Lab, episode 9. Check us out Wednesday at 7 o'clock on YouTube.
Man, we
Only
appreciate
on Ebon
y'all.
Vision.
Say it again.
Only on Ebon Vision.
We appreciate y'all tuning in, man. Hopefully you get some inspiration, something that could push you forward in your journey, man. Because it ain't about us or what we talking about up here. It's about you and what you finna do with it. So we appreciate you, yo.
about you.
Much love.
That's right. Thank
You
you.
know?
That's a wrap.